Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the channel if you're new. My name is Christopher and I am the owner of Antisocial FX. And in this video I want to be going over and breaking down how it is that I trade smart money concepts. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, I've been trading SMC for about 2 years, and one thing that I have noticed is a lot of students and a lot of people who start getting into learning these concepts, they hit like this little rock bottom when it comes to falling down this rabbit hole. I know I did when I first started, and the reason for that being there could be a few factors in that. It could be that you might be over analyzing, you're doing too much of a top down, you're not understanding your market structure, and even though these concepts could be very nice to catch, even though these concepts could be very powerful, I do believe still that if you don't trade it systematically and if you don't find your edge around SMC in a systematic and simple way, I feel like it's very easy to fall down that rabbit hole. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing a top-down analysis. All I'm saying is it's not needed. It's not necessary, if I'm being completely honest with you. I trade 2 time frames. I focus on the hourly, that's going to be my higher time frame, and then I use a confirmation time frame, which is going to be the 1 minute. So I enter on the 1 minute once price is inside those zones. And I just wanted to briefly show you a little bit of my thought process behind this 10-hour trade that I took during London. We're going to be starting further back from the back over here with price action and why I feel like you can benefit from my approach. So getting right into it, like I mentioned, I trade the hourly, and then I enter on the 1 minute time frame with confirmations, right? So right off the bat, I want to determine the hourly bias, since that's going to be my higher time frame. And this is going to be the most important, as you guys want to make sure you're getting involved in high probability setups. So guys, here we have a clear break, right? And you're going to hear me talk about this a lot as far as like sequence. I do like to focus on sequences. So as price is breaking structure, I'll focus on the leg. In this case right here, we have a bearish market. As we can see, why do we have a bearish market? Because we broke a structural low to the left, right? We have a clear impulse. We have a clear impulsive break with clear momentum to the downside, right? So I'm focusing on the sequence. I am looking at this as my swing high and my swing low, and the goal of my approach, and in other words, the way that I look at my approach and the way that I trade my approach and the other members of my community trade it, is by focusing on the sequence at hand. So focusing on your most current market structure that you have in front of you, especially if we're trading the hourly. You just want to focus on what's happening in front of you guys. I feel like you could take advantage of some really nice moves and focus on the potential that SMC really has to give. Let me just delete this off so I can go back to explaining. Sorry about that. So, right, we determined that we're in a bear sequence, right? So we're looking for a trend continuation, guys. So once you have identified your swing high and your swing low, you want to preferably be looking to trade order blocks inside a premium level. Now, that's not going to be the case every time. There will be times that you have an order block like we have here, right at the median, or you'll have it a little bit inside or right below the median or equilibrium, whatever it is that you want to call it. In this case, I chose this POI on the hourly, this bearish doji, and the reason why is because this is, I feel like from this area right here, this area caused the break of the structural low that we have to the left, correct? Now, once price came in, gave us a small reaction, there was no confirmations here. Price did sweep a little bit higher, and this is one thing that I talk about in my case studies inside the community as well. You guys got to be careful with refinements. I do teach you how to refine zones and how to look at these periods of accumulation as a whole, and that's exactly what happened here. You do have a sweep. A lot of people will consider it as, oh, we're breaking structure to the upside, I should be looking for buys. Not necessarily, guys. You're playing inside this whole accumulation range. Price could definitely do whatever it wants inside, just like it did here. Give us a reaction. We have a little bit of an overshoot, so sweeping the highs, price closing back in and taking off from here, continuing to break structure to the left. So unfortunately, we weren't able to get any confirmation entries on this push right here, but nonetheless, you guys get the idea of what I'm talking about, right? So we have another break of structure. I determined the sequence that I'm in this bearish leg, so swing high, swing low, and we do have a 15-minute refinement that I was able to refine down. obviously on the 15-minute, like I just mentioned, but price coming back correctively. And look at the difference, guys. I want you guys to look at your price action, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're doing a top-down analysis, this is going to drive you crazy. But if you're focusing on one time frame as your direction time frame, and you're keeping it simple, remember that less is better, guys. The simpler the better, and less is better. And you want to be trading something effectively and consistently, and something that's going to give you those potential returns, especially if you're focusing on these type of trends and these type of setups and high probability setups. So look at the difference in breaks. We have a strong impulse to the downside, a really nice bearish candle. We can see price correctively coming back up. We have our counter candles already in effect, so we could determine our swing high, swing low. We understand that we have an order block inside right at the median or equilibrium, so this is definitely valid. Like I mentioned, preferably you want to be looking at order blocks inside a premium level, but this is valid as well. It's right at the median, and not only that, there is no inefficient pricing left. One thing that I look at as well is an order block with assisted imbalance, and that's exactly what we have here. This is a refinement, but let's just say price would have shot a little bit higher, then you definitely don't you don't just go and how do I say it? You don't just go and not acknowledge the fact that you're inside this hourly zone, correct? So we have price coming in, and once again, we weren't able to get any confirmations, right? Price does take off. We have another break. I was waiting for this extreme. That's not going to be the case. I feel like price mitigated. I believe it was a 15-minute order block or a 5-minute POI. I was not looking at it, to be completely honest. I was expecting price to come a little bit higher. It did mitigate the median and just completely took off from here. And now this was the highlight of the week for me during London. I did take another trade on EU. Thankfully, that was another 1 to 10, and this was the second 1 to 10 starting September 1st. So we have another break, right? We have a clear visible break. Now, guys, this is not the same break as this and this, but it is a clear visible break. We have candle bodies closing below the structural low, and we have our counter candles in effect, so we can determine the sequence that we're in: swing high, swing low, price coming back into this POI and giving us the confirmations. This trade was a 1 to 10, but you could easily target it could have been, I believe it reached to like a 1 to 30 or something like that. And the point that I'm trying to make with this, guys, is this system is very powerful. I have caught 1 to 20s, 1 to 30s before. My highest trade up to date has been a 1 to 50. Now that does not happen all the time, guys. I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's definitely not impossible. It's just not something it's not something sustainable, and it's not something you should be going for each and every time. These are, however, when you are trading with the bias, we all know that we should be trading with momentum. What's going to happen is you're going to be trading with the bias, and if you're able to get in on these type of opportunities, you're going to be taking advantage of some really, really nice percentages. Now, I would go down to the 1 minute, guys, but it is definitely unfair for the members in the community, that are paying for their education. So if you would like to learn more, I highly encourage you to click the link in bio. Just check out my IG, go through my videos. I have a bunch of reels explaining and showcasing the strategy and the system and how I execute it. I feel like this is something very powerful. And look, guys, just something else that I wanted to talk about. Once you have that other break, you can see price coming back, swing high, swing low. This is right about the median. We did get a reaction, little overshoot, which is still inside this this hourly order block. However, I did feel like price was going to shoot down from here. The reason why I didn't do so, in my opinion, is because entering New York at 8:30, New York Open, we did have NFT. NFT was in place, and that's probably why we got this overshoot and mitigation of the extreme. There was a trade here, so great job if you were able to capitalize on this New York entry on the 1 minute. Not sure if any of my members did, but I know during London there was a bunch of members that were able to get involved in this setup right here. And guys, this is exactly what's going to happen when you focus with the bias. There's no need to overcomplicate your trading. There's no need to be changing your bias every 3 seconds. As long as you're understanding the time frame that you're looking at in current time, you could take advantage of some really, really nice moves. Now, one thing that I talk about, guys, inside the community as well, and I'm always emphasizing and repeating, is the fact that Why are you keeping it simple? You're keeping it simple because you guys, you're playing with a sequence. You know the bias. You know that your high probability opportunities are going to be going with the bias and trading this momentum. Look at the momentum and look at price pulling back. There's obviously bullish momentum here. I'm not saying there isn't, but price is a little bit corrective compared to this really nice strong impulse break. So we all know that price has to correct back, and these are the entries and potential opportunities that we are trying to get involved in. Now, we don't know if this is going to be the POI or if this is going to be the POI. We have no idea where price is going to react out of. Our job is just to put our alerts and wait for the price to come in and give us our entry confirmations. In this case, you can see on this swing, on this little bear sequence right here, we have price coming back to the median, and this swing. We have price coming back to the median. So here it came back to the median, here it came back to the median, here it came back to the median as well, and here it came back to the median. Here it decided to go to the extreme. So let's just say you would have taken a loss here, guys. What's a loss compared to the percentage that you could be banging out and taking advantage of when it comes to these type of setups, correct? So that's the mindset that you need to have. That's the mindset that I teach, and that's the approach that I look forward on and I teach inside my community. However, not every scenario is going to be the same. That's why this is something that you got to practice. This is something that you got to keep applying. And guys, I teach you how to combat these scenarios. Right, we're very active in the community. I'm always posting case studies. I'm always posting weekly outlooks going over the pairs that I'm trading and the potential opportunity that we could have taken. And yeah, man, if you would like to learn more, guys, just shoot me a message or just follow me on IG. I'm super active, so any questions that you have, I'm always here. Hope you guys have a successful trading week and take care. Talk to you guys soon.